Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a truly captivating sci-fi mystery. It perfectly blends that classic high-stakes school-time sleuthing with some genuinely deep emotional resonance. We're breaking down the story framework of Alien Alert in Seattle, the choice of Mitrax. And let me tell you, this isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill UFO tale. It's actually a beautifully structured narrative about friendship, empathy, and, well, looking up at the stars. So let's jump right in.
So picture this. If you seriously suspected your teacher was an alien, how far would you actually go to prove it? I mean, it's pretty much the ultimate middle or high school fantasy, right? But in this story, for a 15-year-old student named Karen Nielsen living in Seattle, often called the Emerald City, this wild question becomes intensely real. And it all kicks off right after a massive, widely reported UFO sighting near the Cascade Mountains.
Okay, let's map out our initial detective board here, because things at Washington High School get weird incredibly fast. We start in August with that massive UFO news break on TV. Then school starts in September and things just escalate. First, there's a new science teacher, Mr. Kent, who casually stares directly at a blinding bright sun and passing airplanes without even flinching. Then there's a new English teacher, Mr. Wilkinson, who speaks with this cold, almost robotic voice. And the real kicker? In lab class, when Karen accidentally touches Mr. Kent's arm, she gets a literal electric shock.
To investigate all these wild events, we follow three main students. We've got Karen, who is brave, super curious, and a massive sci-fi fan. Her best friend Barbara is sharp, athletic, and super grounded. She's actually planning to be a doctor. But the absolutely crucial piece of this trio is Walter Andrews. Walter is 16, he's quiet, and he's dealing with the heavy loneliness of his parents' divorce. He lives with his dad and his cat, Titsy. But the most important thing about Walter is that he looks up. He dreams of being an astronaut, finding comfort and a real sense of belonging out in the vastness of the universe. So, our trio is faced with two prime suspects. On one hand, you have the English teacher, Mr. Wilkinson. He has this pale face, a super strict demeanor, and that weird robotic voice. At lunch, he even drinks this bubbling green juice with black pills that magically turns red right in front of them. Then, on the other hand, we have the science teacher, Mr. Kent. He's friendly, he's charming, but he exhibits totally unnatural behaviors, like his absolute immunity to blinding sunlight. The kids naturally lean towards suspecting Mr. Wilkinson is the extraterrestrial threat, simply because his behavior is just so overtly odd and creepy. Karen and Walter decide enough is enough. They need hard proof. They secretly follow Mr. Wilkinson back to his White House, and Karen actually climbs a tree to spy right through his bedroom window. And what she sees seems to absolutely confirm their wildest fears. Mr. Wilkinson reaches up and physically pulls off his hair, revealing a completely bald head. But as she's watching in total shock, he turns around and catches her spying on him. This brings us to a massive narrative turning point, because the big reveal here isn't some crazy laser battle, it's profound human vulnerability. Mr. Wilkinson invites the terrified kids inside and gently tells them, "You think I'm strange? I can understand why." He explains that he isn't an alien at all. He's actually recovering from a severe illness, cancer. The hair he removed, that was just a wig he wears because of chemotherapy. That strange bubbling green juice, just his medicine. And those color-changing eyes that seriously spooked the students, just colored contact lenses he bought to make himself feel a little bit better with a new look.
It's such a brilliant narrative misdirection, right? And it teaches this incredibly powerful emotional lesson. Curiosity can uncover the truth, sure, but true courage is showing empathy and understanding. The kids feel absolutely terrible about jumping to these wild science fiction conclusions about a man who was literally just going through a painful human experience in private. They apologize profusely, and it entirely shifts the tone of the story. They learn that people in pain deserve grace, not suspicion. They even decide to bake him a chocolate cake to properly welcome him to Seattle. But just as you start to think the whole sci-fi element was a complete fake-out, bam! Karen accidentally leaves her watch in the school gym and has to return after dark to grab it. She spots a weird light coming from the third-floor computer room. Sneaking a peek inside, she catches Mr. Kent typing these long, complex lines of code and actively talking to an alien face on a computer screen. Then, to her absolute horror, Mr. Kent reaches up, grabs his own hair, and literally pulls his face off. It was a human mask all along. Underneath, he has a completely green face, massive red eyes, and no nose. So the friendly, charming science teacher is the actual alien. His true name is Klyreg. He's an extraterrestrial visitor from a planet called Mitrax. We learn a bit later that Mitrax is a world about half the size of Earth, located in an entirely different galaxy where the inhabitants actually live in highly advanced spaceships rather than buildings. And Klyreg has just been hiding in plain sight at Washington High School this entire time.
Eavesdropping from the doorway, Karen uncovers Klyreg's sinister ticking clock plan. Step 1. He plans to select a human student during the upcoming Friday night PTA meeting. Step 2. He's going to use a special mind-controlling X5 spray on them so they completely lose their free will and obey him blindly. This bypasses his inability to touch humans directly because of his electric arm. Step 3. Walk the mind-controlled student right out to his waiting ship at the old airfield. And step 4, he absolutely must launch before midnight, which is when a specific comet leaves the Virgo constellation, permanently closing the intergalactic door for the next 600 years.
The stakes literally couldn't be higher here. The kids know they have to act fast, so they formulate a daring counterplan. Barbara's brother Matt is a police officer, so she secretly borrows his special master key. The trio sneaks back into the dark, incredibly eerie empty school, manages to navigate right past the janitor, and successfully breaks into the locked science lab cupboard. They find and steal the small, unmarked black can of X5 spray. Without it, Klyreg cannot force anyone to obey him or board his ship. They've essentially disarmed the alien threat. So they think they've won and completely saved the day. But the narrative flips on its head once again when Walter urgently calls Karen over to his house later that same evening. It's a really tense, emotionally charged scene in Walter's bedroom. He's surrounded by all his astronomy posters, his cat Tootsie is there, and X5 spray is safely hidden away. But Walter drops a total bombshell on Karen. He tells her he has actually formulated his own plan for Friday night. Walter looks at her and says, "I want to learn what no book can teach me. I want to see another world." He intends to go to Mitrax with Klyreg entirely willingly. Now, what's so fascinating here is Walter's logic. To him, the alien isn't some terrifying monster. The aliens just want to study humans, and Walter genuinely believes he can trust them. For a quiet, lonely boy whose deepest, most profound passion is astronomy, this terrifying alien abduction scenario is actually a miraculous, once-in-a-lifetime ticket to his ultimate dream. He finally gets to explore the universe firsthand. It's just an incredibly poignant, emotional moment. Karen is absolutely devastated and starts to cry, realizing her close friend is leaving Earth potentially forever. Walter asks her to keep his plan a strict secret from all the adults and promises that one day, somehow, he will return to tell her amazing things. As a token of their deep friendship across the galaxies, he takes off his high school ring and hands it to her, asking her to look at it and just remember him. This all builds up to an incredibly tense Friday night. The PTA meeting is underway down in the school gym, and Klyreg finally makes his move. He actually selects Barbara as his target, walking right up and whispering to her family. He tells her to follow him up to the science lab. But Barbara isn't afraid because she knows exactly what's waiting for him. Klyreg opens the small cupboard in the lab to grab his mind control spray, only to find the shelf completely, totally empty. Complete panic sets in for the alien as Klyreg angrily and frantically searches the room for his missing X5 spray. Walter calmly steps right out of the shadows of the science lab, with Karen standing right behind him. The kids have the absolute upper hand here. The alien is out of time, completely out of weapons, and totally trapped. But Walter doesn't attack him, and he doesn't try to run away. He steps forward, looks the alien in the eye and says, "Take me instead. I want to go to Mitrax. You can study me. I am not afraid." Klyreg is absolutely floored. I mean, here's a human, freely volunteering for an intergalactic journey to a completely unknown world. Walter's incredible bravery completely shifts the entire dynamic of the story. He's no longer a potential victim. He's a bold explorer making a conscious, willing choice to sacrifice his normal life for the ultimate pursuit of knowledge. Recovering from his shock, Klyreg accepts, though he clearly warns Walter that life on Mitrax is vastly different from Earth. But there is a massive catch right now. It's almost 9 o'clock, and the spaceship absolutely must leave the old airfields before 9:30 p.m., otherwise that intergalactic door shuts for 6 straight centuries. So we launch into this frantic cinematic dash. Klyreg, Walter, Karen, and Barbara literally sprint out of the school, down the stairs, and race through the dark streets of Seattle to reach the abandoned airfield before it's too late. And they make it, just in the nick of time. Out of the darkness of the airfield, a round gray spaceship powers on, casting this soft, beautiful yellow beam into the night. It's a deeply bittersweet farewell. A tall alien silhouette waits right in the glowing doorway.
Walter turns around, says one final goodbye to Karen and Barbara, and bravely steps into the light. The door closes, the ship lights up brilliantly, and lifts off silently into the night sky, taking Walter away to the stars. As we wrap up this explainer, we get to see the profound aftermath back on Earth, about 6 months later. The media naturally goes into an absolute frenzy over the UFO sighting and Walter's unexplained disappearance. TV stations from all over the world just swarm Washington High School. But on our personal, quiet level, things begin to heal. Mr. Wilkinson, the falsely accused English teacher, happily recovers from his illness, thrives, and becomes a deeply beloved staff member. Walter's cat, Tootsie, officially moves in with Karen and even learns to get along with her dog, Tex. And Karen, well, she sits out in her garden in the evenings, looking at Walter's ring on her finger, gazing up at the vast night sky, just hoping her brave friend is out there living his absolute dream.
It's an ending that really just makes you pause and think. If a spaceship was waiting right now to take you to the stars, would you leave everything behind? It's a beautiful testament to how curiosity can uncover the truth, sure, but real courage, that's about the choices we make when faced with the absolute unknown. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through Alien Alert in Seattle. Keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next explainer.